GSC Chang framed Xingchen for destroying the sculpture. Yuan Shen used Song Sai as a model to make sculptures, and Xingchen supervised the whole process, making Yuan Shen's entire group feel more pressure. However, the original shallow kneading technique is so good that both Lu Jining and Luo Xinxin boast that the original shallow kneading sculptures are simply restored. Xingchen secretly said something next to him, and it turned out that he was a childhood sweetheart with even his appearance in his heart. Yuan Shen explained that he was a gifted person and slipped out embarrassingly to wash the mud. Song Sai went out with Yuan Shen, but he didn't expect Yuan Shen to look at herself even after so many years of friendship. Yuan Shen explained that Xingchen was too jealous and wanted to avoid suspicion. Song Sai asked Yuan Shen and did not regret being with Xingchen. Yuan Shen wanted to tell the truth with a smile, and when he saw Xingchen at the door, he immediately turned into a flatterer and praised Xingchen vigorously. The finished sculptures of GSC Chang's group had been returned. Lu Yaran asked Xingchen to guide him. Xingchen directly suggested that GSC Chang's group redo it because the works of GSC Chang's group were too rough and did not show the gentleness of urban mothers. GSC Chang's team also had opinions on Xingchen's attitude and did not want to redo it. Professor Jin had the same idea as Xingchen. GSC Chang blamed Xingchen for vetoing his second-dimensional creative theme. Ling Wei ran into a conflict between GSC Chang and Professor Jin and apologized to Professor Jin for GSC Chang. GSC Chang felt that Ling Wei and Xingchen watched their jokes together and said that they would never forgive Ling Wei for hurting him. In the evening, Xingchen went to the sculpture room to inspect and accidentally saw that the work of GSC Chang's group was smashed. At this time, a dark figure ran out of the classroom. Before long, members of GSC Chang's group appeared and unanimously accused Xingchen of destroying the group's work. Yuan Shen received the news in the dormitory and hurried to the sculpture room. Yuan Shen testified that Xingchen had been with her and had no time to smash the sculpture. Xingchen didn't want to involve Yuan Shen, saying that the works of GSC Chang's group were not worth wasting his efforts, indicating that it was Lu Yaran and others who were calling for the thief. Lu Yaran was not convinced to fight Xingchen, but was stopped by Yi Ming and others. Professor Jin saw a big fork on the smashed sculpture and knew who did it at a glance. Professor Jin still asked Xingchen to find out the situation. Xingchen suspected that it was GSC Chang, but did not name GSC Chang. Professor Jin and Xingchen guessed the same person, so Xingchen could prepare the work. Yuan Shen also knows that GSC Chang did it, because GSC Chang's iconic habit is to draw a cross when he destroyed the sculpture. Professor Jin meant to let Xingchen leave it alone, and Xingchen let Yuan Shen leave it alone. As for Xingchen's innocence, Xingchen didn't care about other people's opinions, only what Yuan Shen thought of him. Yuan Shen said that even if the whole world questioned Xingchen, she would stand beside Xingchen. The next day, Professor Jin explained to the students that it was a sculpture blown down by the wind. Lu Yaran refused to accept it, thinking how the wind could blow down the sculpture in dozens of caddies. Lu Jining and Yi Ming stood up to defend Xingchen, saying that the wind uprooted the tree, so why couldn't it blow down the sculpture? Grand Ma Xingchen asked Xingchen to bring the little girl back to see. Xingchen's roommate teased that Xingchen and Yuan Shen had developed into seeing their parents. They might have to hold 2 in 3 years. Xingchen actually thought Chen Kanin's proposal was good. In the sculpture room, Xingchen helped Yuan Shen adjust the sculpture, deliberately let Yuan Shen wash his hand. As early, Xingchen waited until Grand Ma's phone rang and asked Yuan Shen to answer the phone. Yuan Shen knew that it was Graikin after receiving the call, and Xingchen smirked beside her. Grand Ma Qin asked Yuan Shen and Xingchen to visit her on the weekend. Yuan Shen was embarrassed to refuse that grand, Ma-Kin's warm invitation. Yuan Shen knew it was a trap set by Xingchen deliberately, and Xingchen washed his hand, and let Yuan Shen create independently. After Luo Xinxin's analysis, Yuan Shen thought of spending the night at Granny Qin's house, and began to worry about living in the same room with Xingchen. Yuan Shen deliberately listened to Xingchen's grandmother's house and asked if it was a building or a cottage. Xingchen deliberately teased Yuan Shen, saying that his grandmother's house is a bungalow and there are only 2 rooms. Yuan Shen must share a room with himself. For this purpose, Yuan Shen went online to investigate the things necessary for her boyfriend to spend the night, focusing on recording conservative pajamas, sleeping bags and towel spray. Xingchen felt that Yuan Shen didn't want to contact him. Yuan Shen explained that he developed too fast. Yuan Shen specially cut a well-behaved hairstyle in order to see Xingchen's grandmother, but the hairstylist helped Yuan Shen to cut a dog and flatten her bangs, which made Yuan Shen dare not go out to see Xingchen. Xingchen heard Yuan Shen hesitate and made a video call to Yuan Shen. Yuan Shen directly took a towel and hung up the phone. However, Yuan Shen still couldn't escape to see Xingchen in class. Yuan Shen deliberately wore a hat and came to the sculpture room, falsely claiming that he could not blow off a cold. Xingchen lifted Yuan Shen's hat, and when he saw Yuan Shen's hairstyle, he held back a smile and said it was not ugly. After that, Xingchen bought a hairpin for Yuan Shen, who was very satisfied and even said so. GSC Chang's team made another sculpture, but it was extremely rough. Professor Jin directly asked the GSC Chang team to compete again next year. GSC Chang gritted his teeth and was unconvinced. Professor Jin patted GSC Chang on the shoulder, allowing GSC Chang to hone his character. Lu Yaran stopped Xingchen directly after class and asked Xingchen for an explanation. Xingchen hinted that some people should stand up and take responsibility. Yuan Shen saw that Xingchen and GSC Chang had a holiday, and GSC Chang seemed to hate Xingchen very much, and asked Xingchen tentatively if it was because of Ling Wei. Xingchen said that he and GSC Chang used to be very good friends. He felt that GSC Chang had a high artistic talent and should not be like this. Ling Wei handed over the classmates and answers to GSC Chang, and solemnly apologized to GSC Chang, hoping that GSC Chang would return to the way he was once brilliant. When GSC Chang saw Ling Wei's classmates, he was relieved of his youth in junior high school. Xingchen and Yuan Shen decided not to return to their grandma's house this weekend, and helped GSC Chang to make the sculpture. Xingchen suggested to the class to remake the destroyed sculpture and name the subject of rebirth in the ruins. Other students agreed, but Lu Yaran was unhappy, thinking that Xingchen had ruined their group sculptures and became a good man again. Yuan Shen and Luo Xinxin persuaded Lu Yaran to let go of his prejudices, but Lu Yaran was still worried about GSC Chang's feelings. At this moment, GSC Chang stood up and apologized, saying that the sculpture was smashed by himself and had nothing to do with Xingchen.